you clicked on this video is because you want to learn more about debt, specifically good and bad debt. So there's a lot of ways to determine if it's good or bad. Most generally, it's considered to do with assets or liabilities. If you're in debt for an asset, that's good debt. If you're in debt for liabilities, that's bad debt. Assets and liabilities can be determined by if it gives you money or if it takes money from you. Every time you get a loan or you're in debt, there's always interest involved, because basically debt is borrowing money from someone, considered the bank, and then promising to pay them back with a profit, with more money on top of what you borrowed at the end of the term. So, for example, if I'm borrowing for a car, that is considered bad debt, because unless your car is making you money, unless you're working for Uber or delivering pizzas, that car is not an asset. That car is a liability. It costs you money because you're paying it. It's not earning you money. You have insurance. You have to put fuel into it. Blah, blah, blah. Bad investment. All right? If you're young, you're my age, you don't go buy an $80,000 new 2023 car and get into debt because you want to show off to your friends. No. You stick with that cheaper car. I'm driving an $8,000 Volkswagen Jetta TDI, blah, blah, blah. 2015, 8,000. That's not that bad, right? Compared to 80,000 for something that's top notch, like high end, whatever. Like, not worth it, not worth it. The average American is actually in debt over $8,300 just in credit card debt, $40,000 in student loans, over $200,000 in mortgages, and $35,000 for cars. That's a study made in 2021. It's probably a lot higher than that, especially the mortgage. And that's what most people go into. And when you're in that much debt into those liabilities, that's when you really get stuck in the 9-to-5 life. You can't afford to just stop working because you have constant debt that you need to pay. You always need to have an income to pay back for all the expenses and debt that you got into to support your lifestyle or what your wants and needs are, which is absolutely ridiculous. If you were smart, you would have started from this, before going into the worst debt possible, you would have got into good debt first, so that your good debt eventually makes more money than it takes to pay itself off and pays for the bad debt, your wants, right? So that's what I did. I bought real estate. So I borrowed from the bank, came to me, I bought houses, boom, 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 got houses, okay? Those houses make enough money to pay for themselves, so paying back the bank, and all the expenses it takes to run a house, so heat, hydro, insurance, covers all your expenses and makes more, so it actually reaches my pocket. So I borrowed from the bank, invested it, it pays back the bank what I borrowed and plus interest every year, every month, and gives me money. So I make money with other people's money, theoretically, because the money I borrowed was not mine, or else I would have bought it straight up cash. Actually, that's a lie. I would not have done that. I would have just borrowed even more. All right, so understanding the capabilities of borrowing is a major, major, major important thing for anyone at any age, all right? You just got to use it the right way. It's a very powerful tool. All right, so, man, it's dirty in this house. The average American is over $90,000 in debt. Like I said earlier, that is all terrible debt. If it was in good debt, well, they'd still be in debt, but it wouldn't be for those numbers. You prefer them to be higher. When you're in good debt, you want those numbers as high as you can. That means you're making more. All right? So when you borrow money from the bank to make more money, it's just like, it's insane how it's so powerful. It's absurd. There's actually even more ways to make money than that with debt after the fact, especially in real estate. There's a lot of loopholes for avoiding taxes and a lot of interesting stuff that I can explain to you guys eventually. I hope some of you actually like and follow. I'd like to create a group chat eventually where we can all walk side by side and talk, and I can guide you guys through the process of how I do it and how you guys can do it. And it does not matter the age. It does not. Assuming you're not 12 years old, obviously that would matter. But if you're out of school and you have 1 or 2 years of work history, you're fine. Easily fine. And if you don't have 1 to 2 years of work history for the bank to refer on for giving you the approval, there is ways around that, but again, it would be a lot harder. What else can we talk about? So we already explained assets and liabilities. Yes, you understand that. Good debt and bad debt, which is basically the assets and liabilities, but just you're in debt. And what else can we talk about? I want this to be a pretty short video, but yeah. All right.